Hey, what's up? It's me again. Looked at the camera. Hey, what's up? It's me again, Fat Man Buddha, and we have another reaction for you. And you would not believe what's going on. Actually, I might not believe it because I just be blind downloading all these videos. And if you're wondering, yes, that is my kitchen back there, and these are still some big ass headphones. So. I never understood why people be like, oh yeah, I want to work from home. I want to work from home so I don't have to sit at a desk all day. And then you sit at a fucking desk all day. You sit at a desk and I don't know, go outside. Like, you know what I'm saying? You will never see anybody recording outside. The first thing they want to say, oh, but the wind and the environment. And that's the whole point you wanted to stay home. Like, vibes. You'll see. Next time we're going to be outside. But anyway. I got some reactions that you probably never seen before. Got some real controversial videos that I know everyone on YouTube is too scared to post because, you know, like I said, when money's involved, are they real or do they just have a little leash on their neck to make it seem like, they a big bad dog and really they're nothing but a cute little poodle, man. But without further ado, man, let's really go ahead and get this thing started. Once again, it's your man, Fat Man Buddha. Yeah, but that would do, bro. And here we go.
Musician Trey Little has been gaining a lot of notoriety, not just because of his music. He has thousands and thousands of followers across the country, but because of what the native Detroiter did 2 weeks ago in the midst of the protests.
Why we gonna tear up our own city, bro? Why we gonna tear up our own city?
And they're not the problem.
If y'all tear up our city, y'all lose jobs.
Detroit rapper working to buy a lot more than just his childhood home. Rapper Trey Little is using his fame on TikTok to try to help raise money in a bid to revitalize the entire block he grew up on.
That be something that I can come back to say I finally have a foundation in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And this is a small step to buying a block and trying to buy a block.
That right there is dope, man. We need more rappers out here like that. You know what I'm saying? How can you sit here and say that you got all these millions of dollars and that you the king of your hood? You ain't never did nothing for your hood, for real, for real. Like, you just sit there smoking blunts, letting your hood go to rock. And then these kids want to look up to you when you don't give them nothing but rock. It's a Geechee thing, look it up. But yeah, man, like, y'all support him, man. Like, he's dead for real, like, dead for real. I've been tracking him. For this little bit of time I've been tracking him, like, he's been even giving people solutions on how to help clean up his community. I'm gonna post some of those videos too. Bro, they were not going to sit here and let you. Hey, they declared the whole thing over with just as soon as no one was paying attention. And just like that, but as soon as everybody's paying attention, man, we don't know what's gonna happen next. Like somebody told me, man, it's been world event after world event after world event nonstop. And people are starting to get to the point where nobody cares. Like that's just for real.
Hey yo, I had to vert the vanquish. Basquiat's in the bandos, we tasteless.
SE gang hammer on the waist shit, leaving the club wasted, waving in the niggas' faces.
Louis reeking out my fucking pores, sweeping coke off of marble floors.
Medusa head on the buckle shit, Hakeem with the semi LVs on the luggages.
Blood bottoms with the spikes on it. Canary choke paw, pink ice on it.
Fresh new Mac on the dresser, chillin', watching Ron's house, daydreaming about Vanessa Simmons.
Playing chess on the luggage, Zanotti's unzip, match the leggings, feel bucket.
Smell the dope on me at the little homie graduation. He caught his first body, told him congratulations.
Rockin' minks at the Bronner fight. If the 4-pound
That
dope.
was dope. Like, dead for real. I like that one. That one was fire. Like, for real, man. So, basically, Yeah, like I told y'all in the last video, find out who y'all tribe is. There is no reason with all this evidence that we have right now. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever for you to sit here and still be calling yourself black or African American or anything like that, man. Find your tribe, man.
World is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Most countries are rich. The Philippines are rich. Brazil is rich. Mexico is rich. Chile is rich. Only the people are poor. But there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. There's been billions for 400 years. Capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the flax, the hemp, the cocoa, the rum, the tin, the copper, the iron, the rubber, the bauxite, slaves, and the cheap labor have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped, overexploited.
And that's big facts, man. I gotta learn to look at the camera, not myself, man. Look, that's big facts, though, man. Because think about it. Everybody wants to say that these places are third world countries, but in all honesty, man, the U.S. is a third world country with an iPhone. Dead ass. If the U.S. wasn't a third world country, then why the hell are y'all on OnlyFans? Oh, wait. If the U.S. not a third world country, why the hell are y'all struggling to afford gas? Oh, wait. That sounds like some third world country shit to me. Just the other night, the damn power grid went down. But we not a third world country. Come on, man. Don't talk about people just to make yourself feel good, bruh. That's a horrible thing to do. Uh, that's what I want to deal with right there. Like the whole look at the camera, not just the whole concept of just in the 1800s we were rulers. In the 1800s we were rulers. Then after that we were slaves. Like the math's not mathing. You feel me? Like nothing's really adding up. Nothing's really tracking. Like it's a whole 400 years missing, I feel like. But yeah, man, don't just look at Egypt. Don't just look at Africa. Look anywhere in the world and you will literally find yourself. Dead ass. So you look anywhere in the world and you will find yourself, man. Find your representation, man.
In your genetic code, it's a double helix that right turns, and there are these sulfur bridges in the midst of every single atom that you have that has a code. And what happens is, every 10, there's a bridge, and then every 5, there's a bridge, and then every 6, there's a bridge, and then every 5, there's a bridge, and then it repeats over and over and over and over again. And that's a part of your DNA, that's a part of my DNA. This is something that we just recently discovered. This whole thing of 10, 5, 6, 5. Well, what is amazing is, with the numbers actually correspond with Jewish letters. The number, if you notice that there's 2 number 5s, both of those are H's. And then if you'll notice that the number 10 is a Y and the number 6 is a W, it's how the Jews spell Yahweh. And God's name is literally written in your DNA. Okay, well, you see how there's 2 number 5s and there's 2 H's. The word for both of those is behold, behold. The symbol for the Y is a hand, and the symbol for the W is a nail. The name Yahweh means behold the nails in my hands.
Look, alright, Sway. Alright, Sway. You feel me? Alright, Sway. Alright. My big sister told me, don't be rude. So, alright, Sway. But y'all go look up God gene, God DNA. You know what I'm saying? And that's not Jewish, it's Hebrew. You have to understand that Jews speak Yiddish. They don't know any Hebrew. Like, dead for real. Like, it's a whole, like I said, go look at my past videos for that.
Wake up, Americans. You're about to be pulled into a war with Arabs, with the Muslim world, and you're going to be made to believe that something horrible that happened to you was done by the Muslims. But it wasn't done by the Muslims. It was done by a wild card, the Israeli Mossad, that's cunning and ruthless and can carry out attacks on Americans and make it look like Arabs did it.
That's the literal definition of a false flag. They didn't write that. That's a false flag.
That's not my conspiracy theory. That's the U.S. Army report.
The day before, published the day before 9/11.
Yes. You can call me any name you want to call me. That's a U.S. Army report. They warned us. They were telling us what Israel is capable of doing.
All right, Sway. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, y'all go check out that video. That was crazy. I didn't even know about that one. Y'all go check out that video, man. I'm trying to tell you, man, because things ain't what they seem. But everybody, you know what I'm saying? Y'all looking at these people throwing stones, and really, they just throwing stones. You feel me? I told people when everything broke down, if ISIS is really a Muslim group, then why are they blowing up mosques? There has been Osama bin Laden didn't blow up no mosque. Saddam Hussein didn't blow up no mosque. So why is it that these two major, you feel me, like Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, supposed terrorist groups controlled Iraq and Iran, controlled it. Never one mosque blew up. Went to war with other people and not one mosque blew up. But this group called ISIL shows up and they blow up a mosque. That's the very first thing they do. They blow up a mosque with children inside. Alright, Sway. All I'm saying is, y'all keep looking at Israel and think that they innocent. Alright, Sway.
It's incumbent upon all of us to know what America came from, right? There's a reason we don't do the third stanza of the Star-Spangled Banner, because it references something we don't want to take accountability from, which where reparations starts that conversation. Maybe it's not a payment, maybe it's education, maybe it's taxes, but first on it's owning our history, which we don't want to do.
Yeah. Okay, who else has comment? Over here? Uh-huh.
If it's about discrimination as well, where do other races fall into all this, such as the Hispanic community or the Asian community? Do they get, monetary value as well? Or is it more focused on just, one community?
So anytime we talk about Black Americans and reparations or what's happening today and how it connects to chattel slavery, everybody suddenly wants to talk about everything else. Let's talk about classism. And there is an intersection between classism and sexism. But we're not talking about that right now. Now you want to say, well, what about everybody else? This is what happens. This is why nothing has been done all this time, because we can't stay focused on one issue at a time. We're talking about something very specific that we want to address that has not been addressed. So we need to face that first. Once we do that, or while that's happening, we can be addressing other things too. But we can't keep gaslighting and being like, well, people who are poor, they're dealing with issues too. People who are from the Asian community are dealing with issues too. No one said that they weren't. But we're trying to deal with one issue and get solutions for that first, because it should have happened a long time ago and it still hasn't happened. So it's time to pay.
Funny thing about that is, bruh, everyone already got their reparations. Like, literally, go look up the U.S. Census. I'm gonna try to find it and post it. Go look up the U.S. Census. The U.S., the Anglo-Saxon homunculus chimeras, these people have already paid out reparations to everybody else except for us. And now that it's our turn, everybody wants to sit here and talk about, well, what about us? What about y'all, bro? Y'all been there, done that, had y'all turn. Get out the way, bro. We're not talking about y'all. And for anybody who wants to side with that dude talking about, oh, well, what about us? Well, you go stand over there. Point blank, period. And that's the whole thing for anybody who's wants to sit here and try to entertain a conversation that's not progressive towards freeing ourselves should be ignored. Period.
Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on a strategic partnership between the UN and the World Economic Forum, which outlines areas of cooperation to deepen engagement between the two institutions and to jointly accelerate the implementation of the 2030 Agenda.
You told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest.
We have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the senator's own statement.
Weather wars. Look at the camera sway. Weather wars. Dead for real. Weather wars, man. Believe it or don't. Y'all, hey, the U.S. government has reverse engineered UFOs, and now they're being used, and now everybody sees these UFO ships. But that was a conspiracy too. All I'm saying is, believe what you want, baby. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? All I know is we can find them and we can destroy them. Because one thing about these weather machines, they must be outside. And you will find them. And hey, you want to stop it? You're going to have to, like, dead for real, you're going to have to, some people. You know what I'm saying? And hey, it's either your children starve or you, some people. And a lot of y'all going to make the right choice, I hope.
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile. Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. There's this girl, Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, on Twitter, who has been accusing Tom Hanks of raping her when she was 13. Her dad sold her to Tom Hanks. It is so rampant. It is so bad. But watch for the symbolism, because these people out themselves with the symbols. The very top levels, these people are just sick and psycho. Look into the Rothschild family. You heard it's cannibals. Yeah, there is cannibalism. The higher you go, the more sick it gets. A lot of people are kind of born into this. They grow up in it. They are abused. And through the abuse, especially as a child, you can break someone's subconscious mind. Look into MK Ultra. It's music, it's film, it's art. Look into Marina Abramovich. Is Oprah a pedophile? Well, let's see. Hanks, Weinstein. I mean, the company she keeps, as rich as she is, I have a feeling she is very high up in the cult. And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. There is a widespread cult that is worldwide, and it's fucking bad.
Bruh, I remember seeing man, look. Come on, Sway. Come on, Sway, like, but that was a conspiracy theory too, right? You know what I'm saying? Come on. If you are in Hollywood, I don't care who you are, like, you've done something to get there. And that's crazy, man, because I've always wanted to be an actor, and man, do you really swear? Because that's too much, man. But yeah, take it for what you want, Sway.
First of all, I'm an insider. I was trained by these evil people. I've worked with these evil people. I knew their language. I knew how they operate. I knew how they funded themselves. And then I started realizing that every elected official that I met was anti-family. Every elected official that I met was anti-children. Because their politics was not their politics. Their politics was controlled by someone else. And they were actually operationalizing themselves against their own people. We've become heartless. We have lost our spirituality. And now they're watering down the overall fight to save humanity. And this fight is a long battle. And all of these personalities, they're losing the spiritual understanding of what we're going through. This is spiritual warfare. This is deep soul work. Because if the child is protected, the earth continues. If the child is protected, the sun keeps rising. If the child is protected, we have a future.
I ain't trying to say too much, but look, the whole now all of a sudden we're losing our spirituality and we're losing our faith and we're losing our morals. Bruh, y'all better go look at just 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Everything was cool and everybody had their morals as long as it just happened to us. But like everybody kept saying, you can't keep doing this and thinking that oh my God, I'm about to cough. You can't do unto others and not think that it's not gonna happen to you on a massive scale. Think about it. They were trying to force us to be slaves on a massive scale, and now they've turned around and become slaves. And they're a slave to white supremacy. In the name of white supremacy, they sold their air rights to the Chinese. In the name of white supremacy, they sold their water rights to the Russians. In the name of white supremacy, they sold their minerals. In the name of white supremacy, they sold their own children for a false sense of power. So now that they're the slaves, now all of a sudden it's, oh, this is immoral and this is wrong for humanity. Take a look around. Everything that these homunculus chimeras are crying about, they did it to us. They're crying because they're losing their housing. Well, you use the U.S. government to take our housing, take our farms, we had our own schools at one point. You used the U.S. government to take those too, and you called it desegregation. I'm all for segregation because it wasn't bad. And now that we have guns, I'm really for segregation because now we can protect ourselves. But I digress, Sway.
This just in, Nigeria caps ATM cash withdrawals at $45 daily to push digital payments. They want to be able to surveil transactions and push the adoption of the e-Naira CBDC, which means restricting cash. Lynn Alden goes on to explain that the problem, of course, with a fully digital and custodial payments world is that people lose all privacy and can have their funds frozen for any number of reasons. A cashless world enables greater levels of authoritarianism. Lynn Alden goes on to reference a Cointelegraph article that reports Iran may be using bank account freezes on women who don't wear a hijab. Iran's plan to freeze bank accounts reinforces the need for decentralized currencies to exist in tandem with cash and CBDC.
All right. But y'all think we crazy though. On justice, y'all think we crazy though. I'm telling you, everybody keep on telling you, yeah, get you some gold, get you some silver, get you some platinum, get you a gun. Because when people find out that they won't have the money like they want to, and they find out that the food is scarce, they're not gonna remember to eat the rich. They're gonna eat the poor. All right, Sway. Moving on.
Can you go in the gas station and get me something?
Go in the gas station? What gas
Why
station?
you still sitting there? Can you go to the gas station?
Who in the fuck are you talking to?
So you just gonna sit here and disrespect me in front of my family now?
Man. Hey!
Go to the gas station.
Hey, quit playing like that. Who you talking to? Who the fuck are you talking to, little girl?
I asked for a Snickers earlier. Why you acting like that?
Hey!
You don't see them disrespecting
Hell,
me?
so who? Who we looking at?
Are y'all crazy? Something wrong with y'all?
No, something wrong with you,
man.
cause I don't see no goddamn body back here.
Get your black ass and go in the gas station.
Well, you done lost your motherfucking mind.
No.
Yeah, I'll knock the hell out of you. You cuss one more goddamn time. And who the fuck you over there talking to?
You always do.
What the fuck, girl? Man, get the hell up out of here.
Get out my car. Get out. Cause now go in, like I said.
The hell wrong with her? You talking to? Now she's sitting in his lap.
Yeah. She gonna have to get out. I'm sorry. She gonna have to get out.
Convert at least 50% of the land area of North America to wilderness, off limits to human beings. Those core wilderness areas are to be interconnected by wilderness corridors, off limits to human beings. Those wilderness areas are to be surrounded by buffer zones that may have limited resource use under the supervision and permitting of the federal government, in collaboration with non-government organizations. Human population is to be resettled into the remaining 25% of the land, into communities that are described as sustainable communities.
That's a good idea. Now you can't really say too much about it, but that is a wonderful idea. Like dead for real. That is amazing. Um, yeah, that's already in effect, except for the whole working with non, look at the camera sway. That's already in effect, except for looking at the working with the non profit or non-government organizations. But yeah, the US federal government has whole wilderness that is off limits to the public just so they can maintain a food supply that would they would never tell you about.
Okay, y'all need to watch this video of ex-CIA agents from 1980 revealing some pretty crazy stuff. And then let's talk about it after.
Analysis that we made of the CIA's media operations disclosed, among other things, that they deliver through CIA couriers ready to print or ready to broadcast news, and I put that in inverted commas, which is used by the media. And this is created by the CIA.
How often does the CIA manipulate the media in this way, plant stories, get their views in the media? Is this fairly common as a modus operandi for the CIA?
It goes beyond your, in the course of the past 30 years, it goes beyond your wildest imagination, the extent to which the CIA has gone to manipulate public opinion. If you include the MH Chaos program, which was $1 billion program of setting up proprietary companies, setting up student organizations so they could draw radical students in and do every kind of duplicitous manipulation of national student movements, press, propaganda, labor, extensive formation of labor unions, funding of major labor unions with the objective essential.
So what they saying is, look at the camera sway. That's what they saying. What they saying is this. They saw that a change was coming and they got involved. I wasn't around for the 1960s, 70s, 80s, obviously. But think about that. Think about how the change was coming on both sides. Think about the Rainbow Coalition. Think about how, even though it was more dangerous back then, it wasn't as ignorant as it was now, as it is right now. And yes, this is an ignorant time. If you can't sit here and properly say that that's a man and that's a woman, this is a very ignorant time. But man, they infiltrated a movement that was going to change everything. Imagine if they never would have did that. Everything would have changed by the 1980s. Like everything would have changed with the Black Panther movement, with El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X. Like, bro, we would not be going through this, and Congress would not be around if they are older than 60 years old. Come on, man. Like, that's ridiculous. You're almost 100 years old and you're in Congress. Like, that's a business. That's not, come on, man.
Do you know the true meaning of the word Negro? I'm not talking about that washed up history that they taught you. I'm talking about the truth. So there was a Jewish war between the 60 to 70 ADs, and that war dispersed the children of Israel once and for all. So the Israelites fled to Africa. Why? Because they looked like Africans. Use a brain. Did you know that not all black people are Africans? Come here. Some blacks are actually Negroes. This map shows us West Africa. In the middle is called Negro Land, where the 12 tribes of Israel came from. There is a group of lost people. Lost in the sense that they don't know who they are and they don't know that they originate from Negro Land. So, after these Negroes, or Israelites, settled in Africa, primarily Nigeria and Benin, the transatlantic slave trade began and they were sold as slaves. Now, this is a map of the slave coast, which ironically is exactly where the kingdom of Judah is. There are 12 tribes of Israel, but the tribe that dispersed the furthest was the tribe of Judah. Very clear in the book of Isaiah chapter 11 verse 12. And you should read Deuteronomy chapter 28 to identify yourself, because there is a lost tribe who do not know that they are the descendants of Christ. What really happened was that some of the Israelites, or Negroes, fled from Israel to Egypt, then from Egypt to West Africa.
All I'm saying is find your tribe. Because not everybody's from Judah. That's all I'm saying, Sway. Alright.
This is like a whole industry popping up in China where they have little African children say Chinese phrases, and they're like dressed in their village garb or whatever, and they record them saying Chinese phrases as like greetings for each other, but the phrases are like degrading things, like
you're a monster.
Yeah, I'm a monster. I have low IQ. And then these videos get sold and passed around in China, and they were interviewing the villagers and the little kids that he uses, because he pays them like $50 a week to make these videos, and they make them all day long. They were saying that like if they don't cooperate, he beats them, things like that. Easy stuff.
He did an interview with the other Chinese guy. He's like, oh yeah, you gotta treat them like monsters.
Yeah.
You have no allies left or right. Now you have to understand that this is going on while China and South Africa are supposed to be working together on a new economic forum. But if you can't come on a grounds of common respect, then they are not a true ally. They should be getting their ass whooped every time they see somebody like that. Dead for real. Every time. They shouldn't even be in Africa right now. They should be getting their ass whooped right now, all up and through Africa. That's why when South Africa started burning down all those Chinese shops, I didn't give a damn. Everybody was like, oh, the poor Chinese people. I don't give a damn. And this is why. We have no allies left or right, except for ourselves. And we the only ones standing straight in the middle, man. That shit crazy, boy. To some kids. And who's buying the videos? Like, come on. Like, that's sick.
Keep your ass healthy. Stop it. Come out of them dark rooms with all that depression. Stop yourself. You go get some help. But you can start by journaling. What do I want? Who am I? And if you don't know, make some shit up.
Big facts. Speak positive about yourself, and positive things will happen. Dead for real, man. The more you put yourself down, the more you feel like you won't be able to do anything. So change your life, man, by changing how you talk to yourself and about yourself. And it will be a very beautiful thing for you.
But white men have been doing this for a long time. So I think black men are just now coming up on it. And it shows that there are a lot of people just plain sick of feminism, period, across the board. So I have no issue with black men deciding that they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, because what I think is that black women, they saw this happening, but they never thought it could happen to them. They continue to think you could just put anything in front of a black man. You could be fat, you can talk back, you can ridicule him, belittle him, and be condescending anytime you're upset, and he's just going to continue to be right there, because where else is he going to go? Now he's showing you he's going to get his passport and he's going to look elsewhere. And it's not about just color. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, you know, you all, you suffer from colorism. A lot of these men are saying they want black women. They don't want American black women, which just shows that if we course correct, as you said earlier, we might could stand a chance. But as long as you think they're crazy, I'm right, I'm not changing, you need to bow down and listen to me, then you're going to be, you know, stuck at home with your vibrator.
Look, man, it's not even about y'all being overweight, because for real, like, we used to love, I don't know what happened. Like, back in the 90s, for we used to love having a big girl, like, yeah, for real. Like, you would see skinny dudes in the South with big women. So it's not about your weight, man. Like, it's nothing but attitude. That's it. It's strictly nothing but attitude. I promise to God, it's strictly nothing but attitude. Because like she said, man, there's not a white woman in the world that can compete. They too busy imitating you anyway. Now you got white women with dreads and braids and talking like us, and it's getting disturbing. Like Attack of the Clones, Monkeless Chimeras, boy, they nothing but clones. But look, man, both sides just need to stop tripping. Cause don't nobody want to leave, man. We love y'all. Dad, for real, we love y'all.
Will black people ever be able to be self-sufficient or independent? This question is obviously racist, but I will answer it as if it was asked in good faith. First of all, before emancipation, black people created the necessary infrastructure for their independence and self-sufficiency. In the year 1738, the first free black town was established in Mosey, Florida, which means that there was a free black town before there was a United States of America. The first black-owned media company, a newspaper, was established in 1827. All of this was before emancipation. Black towns and neighborhoods saved and circulated millions of dollars within their communities, like the Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma, North Nashville in Tennessee, Sweet Auburn in Atlanta, and countless others. There is a list way too long to fit into this video. And do you know what happened to those thriving, independent, self-sufficient communities? They were attacked by white folks. They were bombed. They were raided. They were terrorized. They were demolished. These independent, self-sufficient black communities were fine and had existed for a very long time. The real question is, will whiteness ever be able to be self-sufficient and independent without black oppression?
Big facts. Because like everyone keeps saying, Abraham Lincoln didn't do a damn thing for the slaves. He didn't do anything, bro. We did it. Thanks, us. Now let's do it again. Cause these homunculus chimeras have lost their mind.
Vaginal market value is like this. Look at it as like this bottle of water, right? This is the amount of you got for the rest of your life. This side of this bottle is the value of the Now, big coming to you like this. This is coming to you like this, wanting you to treat it like this. While you trying to work for this amount of pussy, and you're treating it like it's this much pussy in there, there's another nigga on the side taking a little bit more value out of the pussy. So by the time you get the you got about this much left for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, you got kids, she get old, she get fat, she cheat on you. Now you got this much pussy and y'all thinking about a divorce. She puts the cap on the pussy, right? And then she goes back into the market. She got this much pussy left, still thinking in her mind that she's working with this pussy.
Value yourself. Dead ass. But alright, swear.
The high office of the presidency has been turned into a position of dictatorial oppression through the abusive use of executive orders and directives, thus leaving Congress stripped of its authority. When the president overrules Congress by executive order, representative government fails. When government defines human beings as a biological resource under the United Nations Ecosystem Management Program, maintaining that state and local laws are barriers to the goals of federal government, when the average citizen must work for half of each year just to pay their taxes, while billions of our tax dollars are forcibly sent to bail out the banking elite.
And y'all, hold on, y'all. Okay, so sorry about that. Something popped up. Listen, bruh, and that was a video from I think the mid '90s. I was like 5 years old when that came out, bruh. This is why Gen Z is mad at the boomers because all the good ones that were there that were trying to say, hey, let's fix this problem with the banks, they were either fired or killed. That's the problem we really have.
I haven't seen the Moors doing nothing. If they did have it first, how they lost it to Spain and everybody else? What happened is the white Europeans, who they went and got to help them steal from us, took and enslaved they behind. That's what I see. Because they came first. You're right. You came first to rob the Indian community. And you went back and got your counterpart. And your counterpart took you to be the first black slaves. You know, because it was kind of hard to enslave the Indians on their own land. And that's documented. They tried hard. But you know what? Real Indians are not that greedy. We just want to know we can take care of our family, eat, and have a place to sleep. But when people trying to take all of the wealth and sell even the sand, you know, these white folks sell the sand. That's salt.
How do you sell sand? Well, never mind. I forgot. It's they'll buy anything. But yeah, you feel me? So everybody who keeps on trying to tell me that I'm a Moor, I'm not a Moor. But you feel me? Stop trying to convince me that I'm a Moor when you were driven out of your own homeland and you were forced to flee here. And then when you fled here, you arrived here as slaves. You feel me? And that puts a whole lot of things in perspective about why the Moors and the natives have beef. Because don't forget, the we used to catch slaves. You feel me? So the Moors, the math's not mathing, and y'all telling half truths. Not everybody's a Moor, man. Like I said, I am Cheyenne and Creek. And you saw what her name was. Her name was Chief Warhorse. Y'all go look her up. Well, she's been around for a minute.
I studied the Sumerian civilization for most of my career. And what I have found is intriguing. You can go into any Sumerian exhibit and see what I'm about to tell you. Drawings of rockets that look like Apollo launching into the sky. Etchings and sculptures of men in spacesuits and what looked like oxygen masks. When this artwork was created in the 4th millennium BCE, 4,000 years before Christ walked the earth. Genesis, Noah's Ark, to name a few. Both of these stories existed in Sumer 6,000 years before the Bible was written. Genesis came from the Sumerian epic of creation. Noah's Ark came from the Sumerian deluge. The alien god legend has its basis, its origins in Sumerian history. You can find everything I've described in the museum right now.
Alright, Sway. Like, that was, hey, believe it or not, all I can say is look it up for yourself, man.
Pfizer has agreed to pay $2.3 billion, the largest healthcare fraud settlement in the history of the Department of Justice. Within that $2.3 billion is a criminal fine of $1.195 billion, which makes it the largest criminal fine in history.
Damn, that's a lot of money. 1.9 billion, 2.23 billion, but I don't need that much money. But damn.
Article 4, Section 4 of our Constitution requires our government to defend and protect our borders. If our government does not, the Constitution authorizes the free citizens to defend themselves and their state in place of a treasonous government. Side note, in not defending our borders, our government gives aid and comfort to a hostile foreign invasion. And this, under Article 3, Section 3 of our Constitution, is properly labeled as treason.
All right, swear. You feel me? But at the same time, what did I tell y'all earlier? They did the same thing to us, like you just heard about how they invaded our territory 10 times over. And now it's happening to them. And you know why they can't defend the Texas border? Because they are no longer free citizens. Their parents sold their children in the name of white supremacy. And now they just niggas too. Alright, swear.
So, quick question. And this is nothing major, nothing serious. I just wanted to pick your brain for a minute because I got a couple of friends that asked me to check with you all because we're really trying to figure this shit out. So the question is, are we just going to continue pretending that the people in power, the ones that they call the elites, aren't actually trying to kill us? I think it's a legit question. I mean, are we going to pretend that the chemtrails that are being sprayed all over the planet, that they aren't spraying us like they would spray roaches with Raid? Are we going to pretend that over 1,000 food processing plants that either caught fire or blew up, are we going to pretend that that shit wasn't intentional? I mean, are we going to pretend that these derailments of chemicals that are actually going into the food source and the water, we're just going to pretend that that wasn't intentional and that this isn't a declaration of war by the powers that be? Or are we just going to pretend that Bill Gates buying all this farmland and water and other things that he's just doing that for the good of humanity and he means none of us any harm? Are we just going to continue to pretend like they're not actually trying to kill us?
Like I said, man, people are gonna forget to kill the rich. But listen, we can't pretend anymore. Like we really can't. Because, you know, it's a distraction. Everything's a distraction. Because they can't stop the inevitable. And if you know, you know.
Okay, so lots of people have asked, why carry char? Why make char? One simple reason. Conservation of resource is a very high priority in a survival scenario. Most everything you have to start fires with on your person will be an expendable resource. From the fluid in your lighter, to the amount of strikes you have on a ferrocerium rod, to the amount of matches that you have. The only thing that you probably have that's renewable all the time is going to be a magnifying glass of some sort. The beauty of charred material is it takes a very low temperature spark to ignite this material. A lighter that's out of fluid that still sparks will light this material. A ferrocerium rod just needs a flick to light this material, and a magnifying glass will light this in about 5 seconds in full sun. With a bird nest of material like this, if I want to light it on fire with my ferrocerium rod, it's going to take great big heavy strikes like this. If I'm just trying to light that charred material, one spark will light that material on fire. All that smoke is dampness coming off that material.
Learn how to survive. That's why I keep on putting these type of videos in here. For you to learn how to survive without them. Go camping sometimes. I wish I could have went camping. Go camping sometimes. Get out. Survive. I remember when berries used to grow all around the hood. Then all of a sudden just stopped. They said that it was an infestation. I bet it was.
Sound healing is a big deal to do when women are pregnant. You know how they have all those studies about how music, they'll play classical music or whatever kind of music, and it impacts the development of the child because it's vibration.
You look at the work that Masaru Emoto has done and like the different resonance of the shapes that water molecules take.
Oh, yeah.
And we're 60 to 80% water depending on where in the body. And it's like, imagine the resonance that'll have on forming a child.
Exactly.
So, for people that haven't checked out cymatics, you can like look into the different shapes and geometry that forms the sound. It's like, we live in a crazy world.
Yeah,
so
we're
cool.
we're barely scratching the surface on what sound is actually doing.
You feel me? Positive vibes mean everything, even when you're a baby.
The majority stocks in all the corporations that rule our world are owned by the investment funds, which is where the billionaires stock their money. The biggest, BlackRock, the second biggest, Vanguard. Last year, BlackRock was $6 trillion. They lost 30%. With one case of Monsanto's Roundup Ready causing cancer, it's a Californian case of Dwayne Johnson, and the jury ruled that
Roundup Ready is the pesticide.
Roundup is the herbicide that kills everything, but it has been known by the World Health Organization to be a carcinogen. Monsanto attacked the World Health Organization like they attack me, like they attack anybody who speaks the truth and does good science. But a Californian jury has ruled, and the day the ruling came, Bayer lost 35%. So when people feel, oh, these guys are too powerful, I say they're just three. We are 300 million species. We're 7 billion people. We are more. And secondly, they are a bubble that has exploded with fictions of financial multiplication, with rent collections. Basically, Monsanto and Bayer are nothing but rent collectors. They are the life lords of today, like feudalism had the landlords. They do no work. They do nothing. They don't breed seed. They make poison and they collect rents. I think we need a better word.
Facts, man. And for all you people who claim to be all about this Illuminati and Freemason stuff, why don't y'all deal with their finances? You feel me? That was all three of them are Freemason organizations. One's a Templar, one's the Queen Anne Freemasons, and one is the Black Pt2 Freemasons. And if you listen to what I just said, the Black Pt2s. If you know, you know, Sway. And yes, I do. And anybody from that tribe can come check me about that. The Black Pt2 Freemasons, yes. Just like the Crips were originally a Freemasons and the Bloods were originally Freemasons. Come on, man. That's why I don't really like talking about it, because we dealt with all that decades ago. We dealt with all that back in the 90s. We already knew that the Crips and the Bloods were Freemasons. Y'all just got to catch up. All right, Sway.
Today I'm going to show you how I make my biogas from scratch with recycled material with a self-made system from food waste and toilet waste. Can you imagine? Let's go. I'm going to be using a recycled gallon, an iron valve, a pipe, and some glue. I'm going to heat up the iron valve and stuck it inside the lid. Seal any air gap with some glue, and also I'm going to attach the pipe. Here is my food waste and here is my toilet waste. Everything inside the gallon. I will close it properly and let the magic begin. And look how bloated it is after a few weeks. Let's see. Whoa, check this out. We managed to make gas. What is for real? The fuel industry being one of the most polluting industry in the world, next to mass meat production, next to mass concrete production. And here we are right now making gas from our own waste and food waste. Let's think this for a second. I don't need to say another banger because these flames are talking by themselves. I hope this video is going to be as inspirational as possible, because really this quest of self-sustainability is an endless path. It's a path of independency, a path of freedom. And hopefully this video real will inspire a few to keep on following it. For real.
Yeah. That was nasty. That was nasty, but you know, how many of people out there just want to entertain you instead of trying to give you something good, man? Like, let's deal with something good, man. Let's deal with something that's dealing with everything people want to complain about. Y'all want to complain about, oh, how we're gonna separate from the government. I need gas in my car. He just made gasoline in a week. You feel me? Money is non-existent. They're about to prove to you in a few months that money is non-existent. Like, dead for real. In a few months, money's gonna be gone. And then what are you gonna do? All right, Sway.
Oh, Lordy. Did you hear the news, pal?
Of course, I heard of Peter Flaherty, an investor with Warren Buffett, who was arrested at a live event the other day for yelling out allegations which linked Warren Buffett and Bill Gates to Jeffrey Epstein. Or perhaps you're referring to the 1,000 people who have been arrested so far in Pakistan after massive protests across the country following the arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. So that's like another ex-political leader arrested. Probably not related. Anyways, no, not what I'm referring to!
Federal prosecutors indict George Santos?
Alabama police freeze a man to death who was having a mental breakdown? Canadian diplomats expelled from China? China. Now then, there's this author of this children's book on how to handle grief, and she apparently murdered her husband. That's one way to cope.
Like I said, bro, world historical events are happening simultaneously. They are literally happening every 3 hours if you're paying attention. Every 3 hours, there is a historical event happening somewhere in the world. And we don't give a fuck. And I cannot blame anybody. You got to feed your kids. You got to feed yourself. You got to take care of everything. You got to secure everything. You got to protect everybody. I am not mad at y'all for not paying attention to this bullshit at all. But at the same time, if you want to stop it, you got to find a source. And, let's see if we can't find that source together.
My mama once told me the poles were gonna roll me. I'm from the block, I got a hard head. I had peas for the low, got that side 2 for the 4. Left the ops corners dry, they got no bread. Well, the undo start coming and we all start running. Hit a dead end and we all start dumping. Didn't make sense just to get locked up. Pulled the F in, lit the whole block up. There go the news, we on TV, nigga. You better take the back street. Go! Hit her right by the corner store. Go! Spike strip tires gon' blow. Hey now, that's a cop car. Get your swerve on. Okay. Hey now, that's a cop car. Tuck the work and get away. Or all your freedom is gone. Now you behind bars. You did the
That's just something to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just trying to educate you, and I'm not just trying to strictly entertain you, and I'm just not trying to strictly feed into, it's some of everything here. And that was hilarious. And I just had to. Just to make y'all laugh, make y'all take shit too serious nowadays. But the whole world is burning right now. And y'all rather take some bills serious, but I understand. Moving on, Sway.
This new species that they found in Peru is amazing. They've been running its DNA.
Them boys done made a spider-gator turtle. You made that. How you make a spider-gator turtle? Spider-gator turtle. Done made a spider-gator turtle. Spider-gator turtle. Spider-gator turtle. One more time, gotta say it fast. They done made a spider-gator turtle.
That's Cthulhu. And for all y'all who don't know who Cthulhu is, go look up Lovecraft. Like, go look up Lovecraft. Like, there are plenty of movies made out of his book. And if you see Cthulhu, that's another sign that, it's up. But that was funny though, a spider gator. Alright, Sway.
The arming of the militia is not left to the state, but to the citizen. Should the state fail to arm its citizen militia, the right of the people to keep and bear arms becomes the source of the guarantee that the state will not be found defenseless in the presence of a threat to its security. Neither the citizen's militia nor the citizen's private arsenal can be an appropriate subject of federal regulation. The militia, consisting of people owning and bearing personal weapons, is the very authority out of which the United States Constitution grew. Since the Constitution is the limiting document upon the government cannot become greater than the granting power. Therefore, should the chief executive or other branch of government or all branches together act to suspend the Constitution under a rule of martial law, all power granted to government would be canceled and deferred back to the granting power.
Yeah, and that's why they need to take away your guns, because even though Barack Obama reversed that order that he just read off, where there is no such thing as a martial law unless the people approve it, and or in case the government falls, we can protect ourselves. This is why they need to take your guns so they can enforce martial law, and they think that we won't be able. You forget, like, y'all came here with guns, and it still took you 500-600 years just to start getting slaves. But y'all came here with guns, y'all came here with cannon fodder, y'all came here with a whole bunch of military action behind you, and y'all couldn't do shit. All I'm saying is, in the words of Malcolm X, take one of our people and throw us in the dark jungle with just a blade, and we gonna see who's gonna come out. Alright, swear. But that was the video. That was the video, man. I hope y'all really did enjoy it, man. Like I said, I'm gonna be moving around. I wanna, you know, you know, you ain't really gotta like and subscribe. Like I said, I'm just doing this because I'm bored for entertainment purposes. YouTube, blah blah blah, bullshit. Listen, just be positive, man. Talk positive about yourself. Be positive about yourself, man. Get a gun and do not let them take your gun. And if you can, get a gun illegally, because everyone who registered with the government to buy guns is now about to have their door kicked in so they can repossess those guns. But that's just another conspiracy, right? Alright, Sway. But y'all do be good, man. And thank you for rocking out with me this long. I didn't realize that it went on for a whole hour. Damn. Thank y'all for rocking out with me this long, man. And again, Fat Man, Buddha, man, hope y'all had a good time.